What's your favorite film? Favorite play? Favorite poem? Keep that in mind. Now, have you ever wondered what it would be like to gather in the same room all the people in the world who love your favorite film, favorite play, favorite poem? How's that event gonna go down? Would it be a raucous party, or would it be like quiet time in the library? Or would your three choices be so rare and unique that you'd find yourself sitting opposite just one person? I'm Hunter Lee Hughes, director of the feature film Guys Reading Poems. Back in 2016, 2017, when my film was on the festival circuit, audience reaction was divided. I started wondering, what is it that I share with the audiences that really get the film? Because it really started feeling like there was this strike zone ideal audience. And that's all that exercise at the top of the video was about. Some of you may be saying, okay, but Hunter, I don't even want to think about this concept of ideal audience. I just want to do my work, create, and let the chips fall where they may. And I think that's an admirable way to go about the world. But sometimes as creatives, we need strategies to deal with our own self-censorship and our own demoralizing inner voices. And sometimes those inner demons take the form of just, a really mean, cynical voice that tells you that what you're doing isn't right or it isn't enough. Or sometimes that inner demon is actually super clever, and all of a sudden you're possessed by being other focused and you're worried about, oh my God, well, what does my boyfriend or girlfriend or sibling or parent or rival think about this work that I'm doing? And that's when, for me, Madame Fosse Rumiskaya comes to the rescue. Let me introduce you. Madame Fosse Rumiskaya is a chain-smoking, retired dancer who expresses her spiritual maternity by correcting your posture and by wheedling out of you all your spicy stories at some quirky cafe with wind chimes in Santa Monica, California. She's also an imaginative visualization of an ideal audience member who, like me, loves Bob Fosse's All That Jazz, Eugene O'Neill's Beyond the Horizon, and the poetry of Rumi. Now, what good does Madame Fosse Rumiskaya do for me in the creative process? Well, let me give you a quick example. Okay, so my most recent screenplay is titled The Good Dark, and it's a traditional narrative piece, unlike Guys Reading Poems, which is a more kind of experimental piece. And yet, I can't help myself. I can't just write a traditional narrative piece. So I included two original poems in this piece, The Good Dark, and I found that I got possessed with this mean inner cynical voice that was like, Hunter, what are you doing? You already did an experimental poetry project. Get these poems out of the good dark. And that's when I took a moment to consider my ideal audience in the form of Madame Fosse Rumiskaya. And she had a completely different opinion. Remember, this screenplay moves from the material world to an otherworldly, spiritual zone, and the two poems help with that. In the end, maybe the mean, cynical voice is right, and I should cut those two poems. But at least now, I'll go through that process and make the decision with more than one dimension, fear. Now I'm also including my ideal aesthetic aspirations and my taste as a filmmaker and my connection with the audience that shares that taste. And if you're thinking to yourself, you know what, Hunter, it's just a little weird to create an imaginative visualization of an ideal audience member and then talk with them in a session of active imagination. And I say to you, well, you know what? Creativity is a weird jam. What can I say? But personally, I think it's valuable to have a state of being that expands possibilities rather than just unconsciously self-selecting that mean, inner, cynical voice. Because hasn't the mean, cynical inner voice won enough already? The idea of the ideal audience connects you to something bigger than yourself, ironically through an internal imaginative process. But after all, work in the end, whether it's a poem, a play, a film, it's created hopefully for more than one person. It's created for a class of people that love and need in a similar pattern. Your work may get better when you let go of the idea of the mean, cynical voices that mismatch with your work and instead embrace the idea of the people who need it. I believe that you can deepen and strengthen your relationship to the creative process. If you need some resources to help you with that, check out the description below. Till next time, thanks for watching.